She covered her sister's shift as a maid and ended up meeting the CEO's single dad. It was supposed to be just one day. That's all Amelia had promised herself, just one day of filling in for her sister, Clara, who had fallen sick with a fever. Clara worked as a maid in one of the wealthiest households in the city, a place Amelia had only heard stories about, but never seen with her own eyes. She had her own life dreams of becoming a teacher, nights filled with textbooks and lesson plans, and days spent balancing odd jobs to pay for college. But family came first. And when Clara begged, whispering weakly between coughs, Amelia had no choice but to nod. The mansion felt like a different world. As Amelia stepped inside that morning, clutching the apron her sister had lent her, she couldn't help but feel small under the grand chandeliers and endless marble floors. Everything screamed wealth, power, and distance from the kind of life she knew. But what she didn't know was that stepping into that mansion would change her life forever. The first meeting, she was dusting near the grand library when the sound of hurried footsteps echoed. Amelia turned on, froze. A tall man, dressed in a sharp suit but with tired eyes, was rushing in, his phone pressed against his ear. Behind him trailed a little girl, no older than 7, clutching a teddy bear. The man's voice was low, frustrated. "I don't have time for this board meeting, reschedule, just handle it." He ended the call sharply and sighed, rubbing his forehead. Then his eyes met Amelia's. She quickly lowered her gaze, muttering, "Sorry, sir," and moved aside, clutching her duster like a shield. But before he could respond, the little girl tugged at his sleeve. "Daddy, can she read me a story, please? You're always busy." Amelia's eyes flickered up. The CEO, the powerful, untouchable man standing before her, was a single dad. He hesitated, his eyes softening at his daughter's pleading face. Then he glanced at Amelia. "What's your name?" Her heart raced. "Amelia, sir." His jaw clenched, but he gave a small nod. "Fine, just for a little while." A bond she never expected that afternoon. Amelia found herself sitting cross-legged on the floor of the library, reading fairy tales to little Sophia, the CEO's daughter, while the man himself sat nearby, buried in files but occasionally glancing up. Sophia giggled at Amelia's animated storytelling, her eyes sparkling with a kind of joy only a child could carry. And in that laughter, Amelia saw something not just in Sophia, but in her father too. His name, she later learned, was Daniel Carter, known in business circles as ruthless, focused, and untouchable. But here, in his home, he was just a father trying to juggle too much. Day by day, as Amelia continued covering for Clara, Sophia grew attached to her. She'd follow Amelia everywhere, into the kitchen, into the garden, even into chores. And slowly, Daniel noticed. One evening, as Amelia was about to leave, Daniel stopped her. His voice was calm, almost curious. "You're different, Sophia. Smiles more when you're around." "Thank you." Amelia didn't know what to say. She wasn't trying to impress anyone, she was just being herself. But somehow, that honesty began to break through the walls Daniel had built around his heart. The struggle of two worlds, but Amelia's world was not his. While she scrubbed floors in the mansion, at night she went back to her tiny apartment, studying, late into the night, by the dim glow of a lamp. She wanted to be a teacher, to inspire children who couldn't afford elite schools like Sophia. Daniel, meanwhile, carried the weight of an empire on his shoulders. His company was under pressure, investors breathing down his neck, and media always painting him as cold and heartless. And yet, in stolen moments when he'd see Amelia kneel to bandage Sophia's scraped knee, or when she'd laugh and remind Sophia to pray before eating, he saw something he hadn't felt in years: warmth, simplicity, realness. But not everyone approved. Other staff whispered that Amelia was getting too close. Some warned her to step back, reminding her she was just a maid, and Amelia herself knew she didn't belong in that glittering world. Her sister Clara, though, encouraged her. "Amelia, maybe God put you there for a reason. Maybe it's not about the job, it's about the lives you touch." The breaking point: one stormy evening, everything came crashing down. Sophia had a severe asthma attack. Daniel panicked, fumbling for his phone, but Amelia rushed forward, calm and steady, guiding Sophia's breathing and rushing her to the car. At the hospital, as Daniel stood by his daughter's bed, shaken, Amelia held his hand. For the first time, the powerful CEO broke. His voice cracked. "I almost lost her. I can't do this alone anymore." Amelia's heart ached. She wasn't sure what to say. She was just a substitute maid, a girl with dreams too small for his world. But in that moment, Daniel looked at her as if she were the only person who truly understood. A choice of heart. The next morning, Daniel asked Amelia to stay in it as a maid, but as Sophia's caretaker, someone he could trust with his daughter's happiness. It was tempting. The salary could pay for her education 10 times over. But Amelia hesitated. "Mr. Carter, I'm not from your world. I don't belong here." He shook his head. "You belong where you're valued, and you've already given my daughter what money never could have: family's warmth." Amelia's eyes welled with tears. For the first time, she realized her kindness, her simplicity, her heart were her true gifts. The Inspirational ending. Years later, Amelia did become a teacher, but not in the way she imagined. With Daniel's support, she opened a small school for underprivileged children, where Sophia would often come to help. Daniel, though still a CEO, found his purpose not just in building a company, but in building a family. And Amelia, she discovered that sometimes the paths we never plan are the ones that lead us exactly where we're meant to be. Because covering one shift as a maid didn't just change her sister's life, it changed her own and taught her that love, kindness, and courage could bridge even the widest of worlds.